Hi, welcome back. Okay, so we've got the rear toe we're going to be working on next. The rear toe is not fabulously detailed, so don't worry. This is basically just pretty much like the heel of a foot. It's going to keep you upright. It's a clever kind of addition to it. So anyway, I'm going to detach it, call it rear toe just for the minute, and isolate it. And I'm only isolating it. I mean, I could work from this, but I prefer not to work from scaffold if I really don't have to, unless I forget and do it anyway. Take a box, turn off auto grid. Just draw that out. Convert to editable poly. I'm not even going to bother making this one invisible because I don't really need to. Just find the various intersection points. This is why I use scaffold meshes. I mean, this is a new kind of methodology that I've just kind of decided to start using now. I've used something similar in the past before, but I came up with this, I think, really... I don't know, I mean, other people have probably used the same, so I don't want to, you know, say, oh, I definitely invented this, or anything. But it is a useful way of working. Okay, let's get rid of rear toe. And that leaves us this piece here, which now becomes rear toe 01. Like so. And what I'm going to do is hide unselected. Well, actually, I'm just going to hide these three. There we are. Okay. And zoom in a bit. Now, there's not really a ton of detail on this. I'm just having a quick look around, and you know, nada really, I suppose. So I can use this just to unify the foot and put in this big kind of rear piston thing that I have no idea what it does. So what I'm going to do, and this will be hopefully a bit shorter than the last tutorial, is just grab these, do a chamfer by 0.025, and I'm going to pull this forward just a tiny bit here. Actually, no, I'll just pull this back a tiny bit here, actually. So it tucks under. I'm going to select this polygon here. Fast way of selecting the border then is just Control Select by Edge. I can chamfer this. Okay. Right, now pretty much everything gets chamfered on this toe. Except these bits. So pretty sure it's not going to let me loop, unfortunately. Oh, it's going to let me loop today. Thank you 3dsmax for proving me a big fat liar. Do this piece as well. I might put a minor chamfer over there on the back bit. And there we go. Okay, let's do this all round unified chamfer. And again. And then one more just for the sheer hell of making it really tiny chamfers. Now what you can see here is these, which are unsatisfactory. I don't like them. They don't look nice at all. So I'm going to get rid of here and here. You'll notice that looks a lot nicer. Okay, now I can select here, and hopefully here. Yep, and I can do a chamfer again. Make it a little bit wider this time. Not too wide though, it was a little bit too wide. Okay, and you can see we don't have that horrible edging that we had before, and everything's nice and smooth. And then getting back here to the inside of our toe, should be able to just do a minor inset and then a minor bevel, like that. And that's all the detail level we're going to need on that, surprisingly enough. Unhide all. Now we have this piece here, which is our piston, which doesn't actually come out at this angle. So I know this is the right size for the width, but it's not exactly the right polygon count, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to detach this as foot piston, so I know what it is. And just going to have a quick look around the shape here. It's just a tube with a bevel on the end, well, a cylinder. I don't think I even need to delete the rest of the foot, really. I'm just going to do an auto grid on this, just to make sure it's the right width. There we go, just bring that out to there. Get rid of the low polygon one, dump this in place. Now I'm going to use my angle snap tool just to angle this up by about 15 degrees. Look about right? Yeah, that looks about right. Put it in the right place. I'm not really getting much indication of how the foot mechanics on Ed 209 work, unfortunately, but this is the kind of thing I've grown to expect, to be quite honest. Now I'm going to do some bevels on this, not too many. Certainly not there. To there. And then just basically like this. And then just end it like that. And then I'm going to bring it down with a very minor bevel, just so we maintain an angle, and then a minor bevel again. There we go. And that gives us that piece. Like so, which is our whatever the hell this is. Okay. Starting to certainly get this together now. Now the actual foot control area, if I can try and find a decent image, there we are, is an assemblage of parts that are all kind of locked together. It's an interesting looking piece actually, so I'm just going to look through my references till I find something suitable. There we go. And I'm going to have to basically freeze this. So object properties, see through, and freeze. There we are. So now we can see all the way through it, which is useful. Oh, incidentally, I'm going to apply my plain Jane grey materials to this, this, and this. It just helps me see details slightly better. I'll apply a smooth to that shortly. Okay, so coming off this piece, what I'm going to do is select these ones, just detach them, just temporarily as an object, before I do detach them actually, as a clone as well. Okay, now I can inset these, and we can see some of the problems we're already going to be getting on this. Just hide unselected, or isolate, that'll probably do. Just collapse that. And that. The reason I'm doing it this way is so that it conforms to that shape and I've got something to kind of work out from. I don't have to do it this way, not by any means, but I just felt like doing it this way for a change. Control I, get rid of the side pieces there. Okay, right, now I can inset it a bit more. Not too much, just a little bit. And get rid of the outer part there. And exit isolation mode again, so I can see it. Right, now I'm going to have this part here extrude out. Like that, just a little bit. Okay, now what I want to do over here, loop that, do a, let me see, actually no, I'll just do it this way, probably easier. Loop that, do a connect, just slide it out to 50 on this side. Do the same over here, make this minus 50. So they go out the same distance. It's just pure pedanticism really. And isolate. Okay, now I'm going to cap this. There's a reason for that. Now I can do some cuts. Should really have done this first, but never mind. Again, fortunately, as you know, our cursor changes shape when it's over. Invert, or an edge, or anything else remotely useful. There we go. You see, it's somewhat more complicated building a mount for our foot. We're not building a working mount because we're building in the wonderful world of, you know, game piece, and it doesn't have technically to make as much sense in a, not in a kind of model aspect, but in a how it's going to function aspect. I mean, you know what game rigs are like if you haven't built one there. Some of them are quite unique. Anyway, bridge that. And bridge that. There we go. So this gives us this shape here. Now, what I'm going to do is bring some of these in a bit. So, grab this one, that into about there. I'll do that with the bottom piece as well, actually. About halfway. And here as well. It's kind of tricky because I'm working from a lot of different references here, and there's been some fan artists who have done models that, you know, don't get me wrong, they're okay, but they're not really looking that much like Ed 209, to be honest, and it's a tricky one. Right. Exit isolation mode again, just so that we can get into the foot, so I can see where this is supposed to go. Okay, little extrude this time. Okay, because this is going to be covered with a cowl. And straight up through there. Quick connect, make sure I'm not connecting on 50 anymore. There we go. And this will allow me to curve it a little bit. Which means I'll be able to make a more useful shape for the toe. I don't want to over curve it, which is kind of what's happening here. So there we go. And there. Okay, and select that, and that, and those. Do a quick chamfer. Allow me just to keep that smooth. Okay, that's fine. Right, I'm going to hide this toe now. And that will allow me to just check on this piece. I don't want to have any open faces, but I do want to tidy my piece up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do some target welds. Like so. Okay, pull it around the other side and do the same again. Not being very helpful there, were you? Don't know if you could see what it was doing there. Sometimes Camtasia doesn't quite record it properly, but I was kind of losing everything I was recording. Okay, there we are. So we've got this nice smooth piece coming up over the top. Now we've got a different kind of rivet sticks out of the side here of that piece and that piece that I'm going to need to look at. And this toe dips down a bit too. So I should probably just continue this a little bit using the hinge from edge tool, just in case I need it. So I'm going to do hinge from edge and just do that. And it'll come in handy just in case I need to bend the toe down any more than it already is. It shouldn't actually intersect with the useful parts of the toe. Okay, now I'm going to grab my edge here and here. And actually, before I do, I should probably start unifying the other parts of the foot as well, unfortunately. So over here, I'm going to take this piece, and this time, instead of the way I did it before, I'm going to auto grid a box. Just auto grid it up like that. Convert to editable poly. Actually no, let's give it some height first. Not much, just a little bit. Right, now convert to editable poly. And bring this down to about there. Like so. Okay, now this is our attachment piece. I'm going to hide selection here. This is the point where any kind of fully Canon Ed 209 slowly vanishes off into the distance. I really wish I could see like the Phil Tippett Studios version, because I bet that one is absolutely killer. Anyway, even though I expanded this box out, I'm now going to delete this part, because what I really want, now I think about it, is to get the grid here and just drag it that way, and then I can get it to start fitting in with the bottom of this mesh over here. So let's have a look at this one. I'm going to start adding them together. There we are. Now if I take out the inside pieces, and here, well, this one doesn't actually have an inside. Okay, and I'm going to use the target weld tool. I think probably, rather sensibly, now I think about it, what's happened is the designer of this, whose name is on the tip of my tongue, and I will, I promise, credit him with his fantastic work before I'm done. Not necessarily today, but soon, I promise. Has actually came up with the ingenious and almost unheard of idea of protecting his mechanical piece. You know, of having pieces shielded on the inside. So hats off to you, good sir. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm going to bring this over as well. It also means that you can hide a lot of the mechanics, so you don't have to worry too much about them. I know that he used a lot of what were at the time kind of current American automotive ideas. There's a lot of useless and redundant stuff that you put on there deliberately as well. So there we go, through there and through there. And I'm just going to do a connect. Go here and do a ring. Do another connect. This will come in useful for getting my shapes I need soon. Okay, now I'm going to bring this one back. So target weld. And over here as well, I think. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is grab this and bring it over. Like so. And this will act as the mounting pin on the inside. Now, we've got a lot of parts that are going to be quite visible. If I unhide all, like that. So I've got to be careful on how much visibility I'm going to get from these. As you can see, there's a lot in there. So round this up a bit. Bring this across. What I'm probably going to do is kind of do an initial level of detail and then another detail pass and another detail pass and another detail pass until basically I'm happy with it. So there we are. Yeah, that looks okay. A little bit stretched out there. Let's just bring that up. And bring this over here as well. Really has hidden a lot of the mechanics of how this thing works, which is good, in my humble opinion. Okay, now I'm going to take this edge here. Hold down shift and just bring that to there. That means we get a nice chamfer edge there. I can pull this one out as well. Seem to have pressed the wrong button accidentally. Let's pull that over to about there. Okay, so now I've got the basic shape that I'm going to be working from. Just going to look over here at this. Now this I want to pull forward to make a more powerful shape. Simply because my belief is that it would be a very strong shape here to hold the toes on. Okay, now let's straighten these out. Again, I've said this before when I was working on Stormbringer. My respect goes out to these guys who kind of pioneer these models. Absolutely fantastic, beautiful to model. And I absolutely adore them. Right. Now I've got a piece here that isn't quite large enough for my liking, so I'm going to expand it simply by building a bolt-on piece, pretty much. Now I need to do half of it, as you know, so I'm going to extrude it. Actually, no, I'm not even going to extrude it. Let's have a look. I can delete this and that. I'm going to pull out this edge here, like so. and bridge, and bridge, and again. There. Okay, and I think the height's actually about right on that, which is surprising. Okay, now I don't want to widen that any more than I have to, so I'm going to go and do some edge, no, well, not edge checks, I'm going to do some manual chamfering. Not yet though, much as I want to. First things first. Let's make our shapes. Like I said, I'm only working on half the model at once at the moment. And we need to build our mounting point plate, whatever, for this, which I'm actually going to attach, I've decided, to that, pretty much. Looking at this. Bring that across to about there. Bring this one across like that. Okay, now bring it down to about there. Bit more. Okay. And I'm just going to bring this piece across, just this one, to about there. Like that. Got a private message flashing from Brian over at Nullivex. If you need some website work doing, Brian's an excellent coder. Highly recommend him. Okay. Now over here I want this to intersect with this piece, so bring it out like that. And in, just until this starts to move. Okay, and that will be our loose controller for the rear toe. If the rear toe moves at all, who knows? I certainly don't. Okay, now over here, just ring that, deselect this one, do a quick connect running up here, and then a cut. That means I can get rid of this piece. And now I can start straightening up some of these edges a little bit once I bring them in. Grab here and here and here. Bring it all the way across like that and flatten it. So I'll just use the scale tool for that. And I'm looking for the point again where it forces the bounding box to move, so I'll know that's the middle. Okay, now over here, as you can see, we have an extra edge coming down. Now, that's not really too much of a bother for me. I'll just target weld it away this way. That way I've got more space in the middle to apply this, just in case you thought I'd forgotten. And just going to do a quick weld here, because that was actually pretty much in the right place, and do a target weld here. Okay, and that'll close that up. Okay, now I'm going to apply symmetry to this. Stick on the y-axis, don't need to flip. Okay. Just so that I can build this centerpiece here, you see. Before I do, just do a Control A just to get rid of my excess welds. Excess verts. Okay, let's take this piece. We can see how big it is. I'm going to do an inset. Flatten these pieces out. And push them out a bit like this. Making sure I've got all the edges when I'm doing it. Okay, and let's do that with it as well. Bring it up a little bit. Okay, just need to bring this piece up as well. Marginally like that. There. Okay. Just really trying to keep our shape flowing as much as we can. Like I say, it was very much a car body shape they came up with, and I'm sure that we really want to keep it in that kind of mold that they came up with. Okay. Bevel. Another minor bevel in. And I'm just using the bevel tool here as if I'd be using an extrude and a chamfer and a bevel all at once. You can use the bevel for that, you've just really got to get used to the way it works. Okay, I'm going to bring this up to here and stop. And I just want to check the height on this. I'm just going to grow it. Grow, 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 grow until we get to there, and then I can drag into our piece until it's inside our scaffold where it should be. I didn't need it that wide, so that isn't a problem. There, that should do it. Now I'm just going to take the top part and bring that down until it's in line with here. Right, we're now done with the scaffold. So if I go over to here and unfreeze all, get rid of our scaffold piece because we just don't want it anymore. And over here, this becomes our foot. And we're going to use some target welds. Just to clean it up a bit. We need to clean it right at the base here as well. There's a reason for that which I'll go into in just a minute. Okay. Right, that's absolutely fine. This means I can now put an edge in here using the connect tool. And I'm going to chamfer that a bit wider. Go in there and I'm going to use the connect tool again. That way I've got all these polygons here. Alright, first thing I want to do then is deselect these. Well, detach these, not as a clone. That becomes a temp object. And I'm going to flip it. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to delete the sides of this. And I'm going to reattach this piece. Like so. Now, select these. And if it's 22 for the amount of polygons we're using, this is therefore going to be 11 on our hinge edge. So 180 degrees, 11 segments, and click OK. And now all we've got to do, I say all, is delete those top ones and just delete these. Okay, now I'm going to do it here. Hinge from edge. Pick hinge. And click OK and just delete those bottom ones. And I'm just going to select all over here and just do a quick weld. Just to make sure everything's all welded together properly. And then I can just cap both these. But do them one at a time, I think. Now, did I not just check this isn't attached together for whatever reason? No, that's fine. Just trying to find out where the error is. Make sure there's no internal... Ooh, there's one. That would explain it. Should be able to cap it properly now. There we go, and that gives us this shape here. Now, what I want to do is my select tool, grab those, and I'm going to do a bevel. Like that. And it's time to start doing some chamfers. So loop. You'll see that I think it's gone all the way and just stopped there. I'm just going to check the other corner as well. Now this corner's gone all the way down to there, which we don't want, so I'm going to have to deselect that. Not too much of a difficult job, thankfully. I've done the same over here, and now this end's all balked up, you see, but I'll just use the symmetry tool to fix that in just a second. Which means I don't really give a toss about the edge over this side. That'll save me a moment. Okay, there we go. Top view pull. Hooray for symmetry. Off you go. In fact, I'll do all the symmetry just on this method, I think. So, isolate the selection. And, actually exit isolation mode, I want this as well. Isolate selection. There we are. I need to run that script again. Because there's a piece just on here. So, max script, run script, hovercrafter's placement tool. Take that. Take this as our distribution object. And just place it there. Okay. Right, now I'm going to take this and attach it onto here. Bridge that. And cap that one. Okay, now I can get back into doing this piece again. So, I'll select here and ring it. No, I mean loop it. Oof. Head would be forgotten were it not attached firmly. Okay, and I'm in user. That would explain why everything was zooming incredibly irritatingly. I'll close this bottom piece up in a minute because it should all be just internals anyway. I want to see what kind of uniform chamfer I can get away with on this shape. Because goodness knows there's quite a bit of it. I mean, obviously I don't do the level of chamfer we've got on the inside there, but I do want to start pulling my chamfers in. Okay, there we go. I think that's all the major chamfer areas. So let's run a chamfer on it, and I'll do a really high one first, just so I can see where the problem areas are going to be. Okay, now I'll bring it down a bit. Okay, just apply that. Just bring it down at half height again. Maybe not even like that. Let's see. Maybe I'll just do a small chamfer. There we go. Okay, now I need to start closing this shape up pretty badly. Ooh, wrong one. That was the delete button, in case you didn't know. Okay, let's stick symmetry on this. There we are. Stick on the y-axis and flip. It's a weird shape, but it's because it's basically an internal armour mount for the entire foot. Very clever shape too. I wouldn't swear to it, but the angle I'm looking at, it does look like there's another bolt or two bolts on here, and I think I might put them on there anyway. So, simply because I think they'll help with our detail on this. There we go. To that. These things come in so useful. I mean, I've only got two standard shapes I'm using here, and I haven't even attached the rear piece. I'll put another one here and here as well. It's a bit too high. There and there. A bit wonky. A bit more to the right. There, that'll do. Okay, and as you see, that's breaking it down a lot more nicely than it was. Now I'll just hide that. And now we've just got this piece. And I can use the attach tool just to attach the bolt mounts. Like that. Now it's just a case, obviously, of fixing them. So, for some reason I've got Songs by The Who running through my head almost continuously at the moment, which can only mean one thing. I'm probably going to end up playing Rock Band until some ridiculous time. However, for anyone who hasn't bought it, it is fantastically awesome, so I highly recommend it. You take that over here. To all you guys over at SIGGRAPH, I hope you're having a very nice time over there. You'll be back by the time this comes out. Okay, and cap. And again, just round this side. I mean, I could just throw a symmetry on at this point, but I'm not going to. Why not, Chris, you may ask? Because, says I. You know, I'm not sure what would be more effort, doing the symmetry tool, or just doing this, which didn't really take very long when it comes down to it. See? All inlaid the way it should be. Okay, look for broken polys, just in case. Can't see any at the moment. Doesn't mean they're not there, though. Okay, attachment of that piston, which is at the back. Exit isolation mode. Select this and this. Hide unselected. Right. Now then, this has to be married with this surface here. So first things first, I'm going to get the pivot point here just about lined up. Then I'm going to turn off angle snap. I don't stand a hope in hell of getting it to work with angle snap. There we are. Next, what I'm going to do is build a pit so it looks like this is going to go in and out even though it isn't. So hide unselected again. And at the end, at the minute, we've just got this piece here. Actually, I'll leave that on. Probably be a little bit easier for me because I'm going to be using a reverse bevel. Right, so reverse bevel. I bring it back in and out just a tiny bit. Then I give it a 0 length bevel and bring it out a little bit more. Now I bring it back up a little bit like that. Do that again and out a little bit. Now do it again. Now I'm going to go up a little bit again. And again. And then down. Okay, and now, if I take that piece off, I can marry the two together. So unhide all, even though I'm going to have to hide all the parts that I just unhid again. Okay, because what I'm going to do is get these two to kind of line up a bit better, which is around about there. When it sounds like I'm talking a little bit louder, that's usually, funnily enough, because I'm actually leaning into the microphone. Okay, now I'm going to attach these two together. You can tell it's attached because it's adopted the material of this one. And I'm going to delete these, which is good because it looks like, you know, this part's all buggered up anyway. Yeah, but it's not attached properly, so I'll do a weld. Increase my threshold a little, but not too much. Ah, crap, it's not going to work that way. Okay, so see what I mean? Gotta keep your eye out for all these errors. Collapse. I remember I used to record tutorials at 800 by 600 res, and people were like, "Wow, you're mad! Why would anyone record that large?" And then it was like, what, 1024 by whatever the hell it was. And people were like, "My God, we'll never need that much tutorial." And now I'm recording like widescreen. I don't know what res this is, 1400 or something. And this is what the tutorial will actually be released at. Bridge. Bridge. Now I can get into capping it. Actually, no, I'll do a little bit more bridging. No, I won't. Oh, that looks awful. Suddenly realised. Cap. Looks like a big face, doesn't it? Cap. Cap. Now I get to do the underside here. Yeah. Bridge. Connect. Target weld. Now then, there's something going on over here, isn't there? Because this bit needs to be capped. And this bit technically needs to be capped, however it's slightly more complicated as shape. Eesh. So good old chamfer. Do that. And then connect that. And then I'll get rid of these polys. And then I should be able to target weld this. Well, actually I need to target weld these in first, hang on. What the hell am I doing? I've just undone everything I've just bloody done. Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Hang on. But you were sitting there thinking, what's he doing that for? There we go. That's slightly better. Okay, now I'm going to cap this piece, which will leave us a really, really wonky polygon, and this piece, which will also leave us a wonky polygon, for a minute anyway, until I do a cut from there to there, and there to there. Straightens it out no end. But you think to yourself, wish I'd stuck with the Dreadnought 1 now. Too late, you mad fools. Ha ha ha. And that's that. There we go. See? Gives a much nicer shape than whatever the hell that is. Yeesh. See what I mean? Right, so... there we go. And again here to here. Okay, pull back. And that's tidied up that piece. Now we can look underneath and see if there's any other shapes that we need kind of sorting out. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. You really don't want to know how long these tutorials are taking to make. I'm quite literally horrified. I had a feeling it'd take a while, but this is utterly beyond what I was expecting. So kudos to you guys who came up with Ed 209. Kicks ass. Okay, I'm going to delete this polygon here. Target weld this back. Okay, and build ourselves an underside shed area. Now the underside of Ed 209's foot is incredibly detailed, so there we go. I'm just going to leave that. Simple bevel, then we can draw textures in if we need to. On top of that, unhide all. Okay, and that is pretty much our our high polygon foot. And I'm just going to apply a smooth to it. Whee! There we go. Find something that works. I don't think this one's been smoothed yet either, actually. There we go. And that leaves us 1 foot. Okay, so next part we'll move on to the leg. Till then, thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.